Okay, today we are going to talk about the best techniques and best lures, baits. Well, they're all lures, not baits, but lures for trout. Probably my top 5 favorite. Number 1, I would have to go with Rapalas. This is the scatter wrap minnow, the curved mouth. It's around 4 inches long. All these are to emulate baitfish and minnows and smelts, which is what you really want to target when you are fishing for trout. You want to do your best to emulate a bait fish or minnow or smelt, because in big lakes, that's what they're going to be after. In streams and ponds, you don't have to do that as much, but most of these lures are going to be for the big fish and big lakes, and I mean that's what they're after, so that's what you want to try and emulate. This one is a jointed minnow X-Wrap, just silver, black on the top, red down by the mouth. This one is not jointed. This is just the X-Wrap minnow, gold and black. This one is the X-Wrap shad. This pattern also comes in the minnow variety, so if you don't like the shad, you can always get the minnow. That doesn't really matter. Those 4 I just showed you are all made out of balsa, and this one is made out of plastic. It's called ultralight minnow, and I personally think this one looks more lifelike than the others. It's my personal opinion. With Rapalas, I mean, you can cast them, but in the summer months, you're going to want to troll them, probably with lead core line, so you can get down deep. In the spring and the fall, you can cast them offshore because the trout are going to be close to the surface, but I mean, in the summer months, they're going to be down around 60 feet, and a Rapala just doesn't get that deep by itself, so it's going to need a little help. So you control it with a fluorocarbon leader, around 3 feet, attached to your lead core line. I personally would use probably a 6'6" rod, not too heavy duty, because you do want to feel the fight of the fish, because the lead core line already takes so much fight out of the fish. You won't feel the fight as much with the lead core line, but it's really one of the only ways to get down deep in summer months, unless you have a downrigger, and downriggers can be expensive, and not everyone can afford one. And me, I do most of my trolling out of a kayak, so you really can't get a kayak downrigger. You can, but it just wouldn't be that easy to use. This would probably be my number 1 lure for trout. Any type of Rapala, really. Anyone that emulates a minnow or something. When you're fishing for trout, you really want to emulate minnows and bait fish and smelt, especially in big lakes, because that's what they're after. In streams and ponds and rivers, not as much, but in the big lakes, if you're trolling, that's really what you want to get at. My next lure, number 2 on the list, would be something called the DB smelt. And as I said, you want to emulate smelt, and that's exactly what this lure does. It comes in 40 different colors, I believe, over 40 at least. These are made up north, so up in New England. I only have 5 of them. But this is a favorite by many up in New Hampshire in Maine. These you can, I would probably troll them again with the lead core line in the summer months. Even in the spring, they're too light to cast. If you were to cast it, you probably would only get 4 feet offshore. You wouldn't get that far from the shore casting these. You could maybe jig them, but your best bet is to troll them with the fluorocarbon leader attached to the lead core line. You can also put a dodger like this in front of it to give it more action. Or you can use flashers like this to attract the fish. So, to catch the fish's eye, instead of just having your lure, you have something else to attract it. Number 3 on my list would have to be the Super Duper. You can cast or troll these, jig them. They work either way. Any way you can do endless possibilities with Super Duper. They come in plenty of different shapes, sizes, colors, patterns. Here's this one, the bright orange with this sparkly stripe there. This is the biggest size they come in. I have another one just like it. Right here, silver with the blue stripe. This is smaller than the others. They do come smaller than this though. These work great for really any kind of trout, brookies, rainbow. They come in gold and silver as well, and not just the orange. They come in the rainbow trout pattern and many other colors. These aren't just the only ones you can pick from. There are plenty others, so endless varieties. Number 4 on my list, I would have to say, would probably be just a Mepps spinner. This one has a silver blade. I have 3 of these, all the same kind, except they all have different colored blades. This one's got the copper blade. Then this one's got a gold blade. I personally wouldn't troll spinners. I'd use these in a river or a small pond. I'd cast them. I just really haven't had much luck trolling spinners. I like to troll spoons and minnow-like lures, such as the DV smelts and stuff like that. I don't know. I really don't like to troll them, especially in the big lakes. Big lakes, like Winnipesaukee, Rangeley, Moosehead, Mooselook, McGuntick, Richardson. You want stuff like this. You want something that looks like a bait fish. They'll hit it right away, especially if it's a hungry trout. They're going to take that thing. And the last one on my list, let me find it here. I would have to say these. It's called a Speedy Shiner. You control them or cast them. They're heavy enough to cast. They're a little heavier than the DV smelt. And these come in also many different varieties of colors. So the possibilities are endless. This one's chartreuse. The other one was blue. Pretty sure they come in orange. Just endless varieties. These are a lot like a lure called a Mooselook wobbler. Very similar. Mooselook wobblers, I believe, are a little bigger. and are usually just made out of copper or silver. They both work really well though. They're pretty much the exact same thing. My favorite technique for trolling for trout up in Maine is Dipsy Diver. It really works well if you don't have a downrigger to get down deep, or even lead core line. This will get you down there. You just, I mean, it's better than not using one. That's how I see it. If you do have lead core line, something I experimented with that I was skeptical about was adding this to your fluorocarbon leader, which is what I did, and it almost gives it the downrigger effect, and it'll get you down deep, and it really doesn't affect the play or the action of your bait or lure. And I caught 3 fish in a matter of 2 days, 2 brookies and a salmon up in the Rangeley Lakes region in August using one of these attached to my lead core line fluorocarbon leader. It'll get you down. This is a baby Dipsy Diver. This one's small. They come much bigger. I have I believe a 2.5 inch diameter one attached to my trolling rod right now. And that is pretty much it. My number one tip for fishing for trout would to be not to use a swivel. Don't use a swivel because it's going to spook the fish. Just tie your lure directly to your line, because trout are very particular in what they hit. They are very aggressive, but they aren't stupid. So, I mean, yeah, if you do use a swivel, you probably will. You probably still will catch fish, but if you don't use one, you have way more of a chance of catching a fish than if you do use one. That's just my personal experience. And to be honest, I used to use a swivel, but when I stopped, I actually did catch more fish. So that's just a suggestion, and yeah, that's pretty much it.